Douglas Allen Bickford. It is the 17th of June 2022 at 8:06 a.m. here, broadcasting live from my 105-year-old house here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is my hometown. Teaching you how to be positive towards yourself, towards others, and towards everything, towards your life, towards your family, towards your friends, okay? Because if you're not positive, okay, bad things, that means you're negative, okay? And I gotta tell you folks, drugs, alcohol, are not positive things, okay? They're not. They destroy your mind, body, and soul, okay? They destroy your relationship, if you believe in God, with God, okay? Because you're using those substances to try to make yourself feel good when you have it inside yourself to feel good. And drugs and alcohol, like I said, destroy your mind, they destroy your body, they destroy your soul. Very, very negative stuff, okay? So anyway, be positive, and I'm going to teach you how you can be positive about yourself and your whole world, okay? Comes out of a book right here. It's called The Portable Therapist. It's called Self-Esteem, Self-Worth, Self-Love, Self-Confidence. It's how you feel about yourself inside, okay? Here's what self-esteem is. It's that good feeling, you know how we all have been in romantic relationships. When that person you meet, man, you're on cloud freaking nine, just like they are. Bragging to all your family and friends, I met the love of my life, my soulmate. We're going to be together forever. Nothing's ever going to separate us. We're going to die together. That's what you tell everybody. And, it's understandable. It feels really good. I've had it several times. Okay. And so what self-esteem is that same good feeling towards yourself. And Dr. Susanna McMahon, psychiatrist, therapist, counselor, 73, lives in Madrid, Texas with her husband. Her clients, she went to school for 10 years to get her doctorate in psychology. She also has a master's in philosophy. People would hire her as a psychiatrist to fix their unhealthy minds. And because without self-esteem, we can't have a healthy mind. So, as a psychiatrist, they would hire her to fix their unhealthy minds. And she knew as a psychiatrist, because she went to school to study the science of the mind and how the brain functions right, that until you have self-esteem, self-love, self-worth, self-confidence, you can't have a healthy mind. So every book, every lesson in this book, it doesn't have chapters, it has, I call them lessons, it's in question form. But every lesson in this book talks about how we've been trained and taught not to have the self-esteem. I call it brainwashing, right? She calls it training and taught. And it comes from the television and the social media now. Facebook is just one of the places it comes from. This training not to love ourselves, okay? But anyway, she knew that 30 years ago. This book was published in 1992. Okay, so now it's 1,000 times worse, our training, brainwashing, coming from the social media, right? She wrote the book before there was ever social media, okay? Anyway, so she had to come up with a concept for her thousands of clients so they can give themselves self-esteem, because nobody can give you self-esteem. You have to do it. And here's that concept she came up with. It's called mirror therapy. You look at the mirror and say 4 things to yourself daily without fail, which are, I love you, I love my inner child, I'm worthy to be loved, worthy to love, I'm full of goodness. Those 4 things to yourself in the mirror, if you say it daily and practice it daily, instead of criticizing yourself in the mirror, folks, will give you self-esteem on steroids, self-love, self-confidence, self-worth. And the reason you have to say it daily, practice it daily, is it's like lifting weights. You start lifting weights, then you stop. You have to start all over again from scratch. Self-esteem is the exact same thing for the brain. So it's not going to do you any good to say it a couple times. You have to say it the rest of your life daily in the mirror. I love Douglas Allen Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved, worthy to love. I'm full of goodness. Less than 10 seconds, folks, will give you self-esteem, and then you will maintain it if you say it daily. And the reason she came up with mirror therapy, she knows how the brain functions, right? We cannot lie to ourselves in the mirror. She knows this, okay? That's why she came up with mirror therapy as a psychiatrist. So that's why you can get in front of the mirror. Whenever you're in front of the mirror, we're all in front of the mirror every day. And you can easily criticize yourself, say bad things or think them about yourself, because that's how you feel inside about yourself. Okay? You can't say good things to yourself in the mirror because you can't lie to yourself in the mirror. And that's why you want to call me crazy for telling you this. It's called a defense mechanism, right? You don't even know you're using it. Or why you want to turn me off when I tell you that. So anyway, the very first time you do it, folks, you'll have to force yourself to do it. And I am very confidently spreading this message because I have attained self-esteem and maintain it daily by 4 things to myself in the mirror. And I will continue to spread this message, okay, from Dr. Susanna McMahon. We can all attain self-esteem. And we can all attain inner peace that comes along with attaining self-esteem. I kid you not. Okay. So, here's the thing about self-esteem. You cannot be content without it. What content means is you feel good about how, where, and what you are. Okay. It's also known as internal peace. Okay. There are 11 things that people are using to try to be content, and they are Facebook, which I call fake book, drugs, and you can include caffeine and nicotine in the drugs. Caffeine is a stimulant, and nicotine is like an opiate, calms you down. Okay, caffeine revs you up. Sex, all forms of sex, okay. Food, all the food out there. Gambling. Television is a huge one, okay. Religion, material possessions, people, and money. 11 things. They're all known as externals that are outside of yourself, okay? They will make you content, happy temporarily, but that good feeling always goes away, okay? Because they are outside of yourself. There's only one thing that's going to make you content and give you internal peace, and that's to attain and maintain self-esteem. Okay, and the 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily for the rest of your life. It'll take you less than 10 seconds. When you're in front of the mirror every day already, criticizing yourself will give you internal peace and make you permanently content. You won't be happy all the time, but you'll have this internal peace. I have it now, and I will continue to keep it because I practice daily to myself in the mirror and all day long positive affirmations. Okay. And that's how you can be positive for the rest of your life, okay? And not negative anymore, okay? So, you also, without self-esteem, you can't love without it. You can't be loved without it. So what happens is you will attract somebody without it in romantic relationship, without self-esteem. And then when that good feeling goes away that you thought was love, which it's understandable. It feels really good. It feels like love. Okay. Since you can't love or be loved without self-esteem, it's not love. It's just a good feeling. But when that wears off, that feeling, that's when the relationship becomes toxic. The fights, the arguments, the cheating, the drug and alcohol use, the going to bars, and flirting with other people right in front of your spouse, or not even in a bar, just going out somewhere with your wife or your husband or your significant other, and you flirting with other people. Then you start bringing people home to have sex with, and the toxic relationship becomes a new level of toxicity. The fights, the arguments, the cussing at each other, the calling each other names, the drug and alcohol use, and nothing fixes it, okay? So then you'll divorce or separate because the relationship became toxic, right? Then the next thing that'll happen is two people that got in a relationship without self-esteem, you'll just stay in that relationship forever. And the reason you don't leave it, because you're being codependent on each other. You don't want to be a failure. You can't be alone. You're afraid to leave. You don't want to be an embarrassment to all your family and friends. Couldn't make it, right? So you'll stay in that relationship forever. There's a lot of that going on too. And then all the emotional, sexual, and physical abuse just gets swept under the rug by all the family. And then it becomes a dysfunctional family at that time, at that point. And then they produce a dysfunctional family will produce more dysfunctional families, and all the emotional, sexual, and physical abuse of all those relationships will get swept under the rug, and then it just continues down the line. Okay, the cycle continues. Okay, and then the last thing that'll happen to that got in a relationship without self-esteem, the two that it failed, right? Whether it's a marriage or not, it failed, and they've been in many relationships that failed or many marriages that failed. They'll just say, screw it. They're done with the romantic scene because they can't find anybody to love, and they can't find anybody to love them. Okay, so then a lot of times they'll quit taking care of themselves, and they'll use the 11 things to try to be content, happy, right? But the only way you can be content and have internal peace is to attain and maintain self-esteem. So the good news is all parties concerned, if they all did 4 things to themselves in the mirror, without fail, it'll fix the toxic relationship. It'll fix the person that's all miserable out there all alone, using 11 things to try to make themselves feel good. Okay? And then all parties involved get this book. If you're in a toxic relationship, both partners go through this book together. And then it will fix your toxic marriage or relationship. And the person all alone, get this book, will attain and maintain self-esteem, and that will give them internal peace. They won't have to use those 11 things to try to be happy anymore. And then they might actually find somebody that's healthy-minded, because without self-esteem, you can't have a healthy relationship. Okay. That's why you've been in many failed marriages and relationships. That's why I've been married 4 times and had many failed relationships. and divorced 4 times as of today. Okay, I mean, I'm pushing 20 months being free and clear of a toxic relationship. Douglas Allen Bickford will never ever be in a toxic relationship again. I don't have to be, because now I can live alone by myself and be totally content and have internal peace, because I attained and maintained self-esteem by mirror therapy. Okay, and you can all have the same thing too, the same internal peace, the same contentment, and not have to use Facebook, drugs, alcohol, sex, television, food, gambling, religion, another person, material possessions, or money to be happy anymore. I don't use any of that stuff anymore. And it's all because of Dr. Susanna McMahon, a psychiatrist that taught me how to love myself. And you can all have the same love for yourself too. Seriously, it works, okay? Then you will be positive, okay? Everything around you will be nothing but positivity instead of negativity, okay? So I'm going through this book one lesson at a time. Here's that next lesson. Lesson 32. How can I accept myself if I don't agree with or understand myself? Accepting yourself involves both behavioral and thought processes. As mentioned in the previous question, there are behavioral techniques that you can use to begin the process. The very first thing you can do, say 4 things to yourself in the mirror, folks, daily for the rest of your life. And that'll be the beginning of your change, okay? The cognitive processes towards acceptance of yourself begin when you do the following. Number 1, stop the denial. Stop thinking that you cannot accept yourself. You can and you will if you really want to. Number 2, suspend the judgment. Not everything in the world can be viewed in terms of dichotomies. Not everything is good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative. Recognize your defenses. They are stopping you from movement. They may have worked in the past, but now they are in the way. And one of your defenses is calling me crazy and turning me off before you ever get to this point. Because I tell you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Okay. And you're using it subconsciously. You don't even know you're using it. Kill your illusions. I'm talking about the television here, folks. Reality is not illusory. And Facebook isn't reality either, folks. You don't even know those people you're talking to out there. Reality and the reality of yourself exists. Everyone else around you knows the reality of you. Now is the time for you to know yourself. Number 5, utilize conscious, reflective observation. Observe yourself as others observe you. To others, you are what you do, not what you wish that you were doing. Your behaviors do count, and you can control them, and you can stop using drugs and alcohol. That's a behavior that you've learned, and it's become a habit, but you don't have to do either one of those. Your behaviors do count, and you can control them. Your feelings, your dreams, your hopes, your wishes are not the reality of you. They are only a part of what you are. There are many things that we accept but do not agree with or understand. War, famine, the unfairness of life, and death are things we deal with every day, because that's our reality, folks. And we don't understand any of them. We are all part of it, and our very existence is proof that we are living something that we do not fully comprehend. You may not like your life. You may not like yourself. You may wish to be someone or somewhere else. Your feelings will not change the reality of your situation. Your behaviors will change you. Acceptance of self becomes a behavior. You can do it! Exclamation point. Acceptance is not giving up or giving in. It takes less work and less energy to accept yourself than it does to deny yourself. In the long run, it is a much easier process, and you will find that acceptance frees up the energy needed to have self-esteem and do the best you can and be and be positive. Seriously, folks, it worked. It worked on me. I am full of it now. Okay. Let's see. To have self-esteem and do the best you can. It is only in the beginning that it seems difficult and strange. That's like the 4 things to yourself in the mirror. It seems very strange, doesn't it? Okay. Remember, you are relearning a skill, and it is a skill, folks. This takes time and feels wrong. Keep at it! Exclamation point. Stay with it! Exclamation point. Acceptance really works. Everything after acceptance is easier. But if you cannot accept yourself, you cannot know yourself. And if you do not know yourself, you will never believe and trust that you love yourself and that you are truly lovable. Accept that you are lovable. You are good. You are worthy of love. Believe this, self-love, self-esteem will be yours, period. And it's all true, folks. And it comes from a psychiatrist. I'm going to have another lesson for you tomorrow, which is, how do I begin to love myself and take care of myself? Lesson 33. You all have a great day out there. I can be your mentor when you start going through this change, and you will change if you say 4 things to yourself in the mirror. You will have 458-232-5238. Call me anytime, day or night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day out there on this Friday, and don't go out drinking and drugging tonight, especially driving. Okay, but if you say 4 things to yourself in the mirror today, you won't have to go out drinking and drugging tonight to make yourself feel good, because you will have internal peace, guaranteed, from Douglas Allen Bickford here in Klamath Falls, Oregon.